رب اشرح لي صدری ویسر لی امری واحلل عقدۃ من لسانی یفقہوا قولی. The theme for the present talk is the concept of jihad in Islam. Jihad is a burning topic in our present media. Every day there are some news item about jihad. Now, what is jihad? Jihad is an Arabic word and it has nothing to do with violence and war. Jihad means to strive, to struggle in a peaceful manner. So, jihad is used in Islam with the same meaning that we call peaceful activism. So, jihad is only the other name of peaceful activism. It has nothing to do with violence or war. If you read Quran, you will find that Quran uses two different words, jihad and qital. Qital means war and jihad means peaceful struggle. Jihad is not a holy war. That is completely wrong. There is no concept of holy war in Islam. So jihad is not a holy war. Qital is defensive war. When there is attack, when there is aggression, then Muslims are allowed to go to war. So other than defense, there is no war in Islam. And as far as jihad is concerned, it is a peaceful activity. And jihad means peaceful dawah work. In fact, jihad is related to dawah work. Jihad means jihad-e-dawat. It is very clear in the Quran. There is a chapter Al-Furqan, number 25. In chapter Al-Furqan, there is a verse number 52. That is, وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Do great jihad against them with the help of the Quran. Do great jihad against them with the help of the Quran. Now, who are them? These were those hostile people of Mecca. This chapter was revealed before Hijrah, when Prophet was in Mecca. You know, Prophet started his prophetic mission in Mecca in 610 AD. Then there was great hostilities. Prophet's mission was mission of Tawheed, oneness of God. And during those days, people in Mecca were idol worshippers. They were very, very sensitive regarding their belief. So at that time, they were not ready to accept or tolerate Tawheed. So they became hostile. Although some of them accepted Islam, they are called Sahaba, but the majority of Meccan people refused to accept. They became hostile, and they inflicted all kinds of atrocities against the Prophet and against his companions. This was the situation. This was the background. And in this background, in this hostile situation, this verse was revealed. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Do great jihad against them with the help of the Quran. Now, what is Quran? Quran is a book of ideology. Quran is not a sword. Quran is not a gun. Quran is not a bomb. Quran is a book of ideology, book of Tawheed. So, taking that situation, we can say that this verse means that although the situation is very violent, there are hostilities, but you respond peacefully. You have to respond in a peaceful manner. This was the meaning at that time of this verse. So this was jihad. وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Do great jihad against them with the help of the Quran. It means that meet that challenge in a peaceful manner. Meet that violent challenge. Challenge was violent, but you have to respond peacefully. Now, what is al-jihadul kabir? وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Al-jihadul kabir. There is a hadith. Once Prophet returned from a ghazwa. Ghazwa means defensive war. So, there was a defensive war. And when Prophet returned from this defensive war, he said, when he reached Medina, that was his hometown. This hadith pertains to Medina and not Makkah. So when Prophet returned to Medina, he said, Rajana min al-jihad al-asghar ila al-jihad al-akbar. We returned from small jihad to great jihad. So what was that al-jihad al-akbar? That was peaceful dawah work. Prophet and companions were engaged in dawah work. Then there was aggression, and they compelled to defense. Then they returned from that ghazwa and reached Medina. At that time, Prophet said, Rajana min al-jihad al-asghar ila al-jihad al-akbar. We returned from small jihad to great jihad. It means that peaceful dawah work was al-jihad al-akbar. It's very, very clear. Rajana min al-jihad al-asghar ila al-jihad al-akbar. It means that we were compelled to go to defensive war, but now we have returned to our dawah work. So dawah work is a peaceful work. Dawah work is al-jihad al-akbar. So here you can see a similarity between Quran and Hadith. So this verse, وَجَاهِدْهُمْ بِهِ جِهَادًا كَبِيرًا. Here it is al-jihad al-kabir, and in Hadith also there is al-jihad al-kabir. So al-jihad al-kabir, al-jihad al-akbar means jihad-e-dawat, that is peaceful dawah work. Peaceful dawah work. So it is very clear that in the Quran, jihad means peaceful struggle. So the weapon of jihad is not sword. Weapon of jihad is not gun. Weapon of jihad is dialogue, negotiation, interaction, tolerance, peace, adjustment. This is the weapon of jihad, peaceful jihad. So according to Quran and Hadith, jihad means peaceful struggle. And in Islam, peaceful struggle means dawah struggle. The most important task in Islam is dawah. Prophet was sent for this purpose. Da'iyan ilallahi bi'iznihi wa sirajan munira. So Prophet was a da'i. All the Muslims are da'i. لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. So the Prophet was a da'i. All his companions were da'i. And now all the Muslims are da'i. Dawah is the only mission of Muslim, of Ummah, of Ummat Muhammad. Dawah is the only concern. Dawah is the only mission. There is no mission except dawah. Dawah means to convey the message of God Almighty to all mankind in a peaceful manner. This is the mission. So this is jihad. So it is very clear in the Quran and Hadith that jihad is a peaceful activity. Jihad is only the other name of peaceful activism. Now there is one other important point. Qital. Some people take jihad in the sense of qital in extended sense. I'm not going to that discussion. But I will say that qital, if you take jihad in the sense of qital by extending the meaning of jihad, so I'm not going to that discussion, but I will say that qital in Islam is a very, very restricted action. Qital or war. War is only against attackers and not against enemy. It's very important to know that Islam differentiates between enemy and attacker. It's very, very important to understand, to know. People generally confuse between the two. So, case of attacker and case of enemy is very, very different to each other. So in Islam, qital is only against the attackers. Qital means defensive war, because there is no war in Islam other than defense. So qital in the sense of defense is only against the attackers, and not against the enemy. It is very clear from the Quran. There is a very important verse in this regard. Quran says that La tastawi al-hasanatu wala as-sayyi'a idfa billati hiya ahsan fa idha alladhi bainaka wa bainahu adawa kannahu waliyyun hamim. It means that do good deed in return of bad deed. Bad deed means bad deed from enemies. If there are some enemies and they are doing bad deed, you are not allowed to respond badly. So Quran says that do good deed in return for bad deed. Then you will find that your enemy has become your dearest friend. Kannahu waliyun hamim. Do good deed in return for bad deed of enemy. And you will find that your enemy has become your dearest friend. It means that, according to the Islam, enemy is your potential friend. No enemy is permanent enemy. Enmity is not a permanent phenomena. Enmity is not a permanent phenomena. No enemy is a permanent enemy. So every enemy is insan. Every enemy is a human being. Enemy is not a Satan. So every enemy is potentially your friend. So turn this potential into actual. Why fighting? Why war? Why killing? So your enemy is your potential friend. So try to turn this potential into actual. Make friend out of enemy. It is very important. Islamic teaching about aggressor is different, and Islamic teaching about enemy is different. So you have to know this difference, otherwise you will live in confusion. According to my study, peace is a permanent teaching of Islam, and fighting is a temporary teaching of Islam. Fighting is a temporary phenomena, and peace is a permanent phenomena of Islamic society. Every time you have to live in peace. Every time. Every time, in your family, in your society, among your neighbors, and international relationship, everywhere you have to live in peace. And if there is an aggression or attack, that is a temporary phenomena, is not permanent phenomena. Attack or aggression is not a permanent phenomena. It is a temporary phenomena. So if there is attack, even then you have to manage. In the first instance, try to manage that problem. Don't go to war instantly, but try to manage. Then if there is no option other than going to war, then you are allowed to take that option. In Prophet, if you study the Prophet's life, you will find that Prophet always tried to manage than to fight with the problems. For example, let us take the Hijrah. You know, when Prophet was in Mecca and there were atrocities, then he migrated Mecca and settled in Medina. That was Hijrah. Hijrah means migration. So migration was a Hijrah. In Islamic history, Hijrah is very, very important event. Everyone knows Hijrah. But what was Hijrah? At the time of Hijrah, there were all kinds of atrocities from the other party. They were there were all kind of hostilities, all kind of atrocities. Then Prophet opted for hijrah. It means that hijrah was a kind of avoidance. He avoided confrontation, violent confrontation. Although there was violent situation, although in Mecca there was violent situation, but he avoided going to violence. He receded. It's very interesting aspect to know. The Prophet receded and left Mecca. So that was, it means that he applied the principle of avoidance rather than principle of confrontation. At that time, Prophet applied the principle of avoidance rather than principle of confrontation. So it is very important to know that even if there are violence, even if there is violence, even in that situation, you aren't allowed to go to war at once. First of all, you have to try to avoid. If avoidance is not possible, if there is no option other than to go to defensive war, then you are allowed to go to war. Otherwise, you have to manage the situation. Otherwise, you have to avoid the situation. There's another example. That is Hudaybiyah. Hudaybiyah example or also Khandaq example. There was a ghazwa that is called Ghazwatul Khandaq. Khandaq means trench. It is called in history Battle of Trench, although there was no battle. It was avoidance. The Meccan people attacked Medina, but Prophet dug trench only to avoid the war. So this trench was like a buffer. So this Khandaq or trench was a buffer between himself and those enemies. So here you can see that at Ghazwatul Khandaq, he also applied the principle of avoidance by digging a trench. So although it is called in history Ghazwatul Khandaq, Battle of Trench, but it was not, in fact, it was not a battle. It was not a war. It was avoidance. Prophet put a buffer between himself and that attackers. So there was no war. Because at that time there were no helicopters. So those enemies were compelled to return to their home. So it was also, Ghazwatul Khandaq was not a ghazwa, not a battle. Although in books you will find this name, Ghazwatul Khandaq, or Battle of Trenches. There was no battle, there was no war, there was no ghazwa. Simply Prophet applied the principle of avoidance through trenches. The trench was a buffer. Then you can see Hudaybiyah. In book also you will read Ghazwatul Hudaybiyah. Ghazwatul Hudaybiyah. But there was no ghazwa. What happened that Prophet and his companions wanted to go Mecca and perform Umrah. Simply Umrah. So when they reached Hudaybiyah, the Meccan people came over there and said that we are not allowed, we never allow you to go to Mecca and perform Umrah. You have to return back to Medina. So there was negotiations near about 2 weeks. But after all the negotiations, they were not ready to allow Prophet to go to Mecca. So Prophet, at that time, there was two options before Prophet. Either fight, either return to Medina, either going back to Medina or going to war. So Prophet opt for Medina rather than going to war. This was a beautiful application of his principle that is mentioned in the Sahih al-Bukhari. Prophet of Islam, Aisha was the wife of the Prophet of Islam. So Aisha says, it is narrated in al-Bukhari, she says that ما خير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. Whenever the Prophet had to opt between the two, he always opted for easier course of action rather than harder course of action. His hadith. Here you can see the Prophet of Islam's policy. This hadith states what was the general policy of the Prophet of Islam. And Hudaybiyah is very, very clear example. At the time of Hudaybiyah, you see, at the time of Hudaybiyah, there were two options before the Prophet: fighting or going back to Medina. Either insist to go to Mecca at the price of war, or leaving Hudaybiyah or going back to Medina. So which one was easier? It is very clear that going back to Medina was easier course of action. And if he insisted to go to Mecca, that was harder course, harder option. So at that time, there was two options before Prophet: easier option and harder option, or peaceful option and violent option. Clearly, at that time, there were two options before the Prophet of Islam. The Prophet opted for peaceful method rather than violent method. This was the general policy of the Prophet of Islam. ما خير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما. It is very clear. Then if you study the life of the Prophet, the life of the companions of the Prophet, you will find what was the behavior, what is the behavior of a da'i, what is the behavior of a mujahid. Mujahid here means da'i, not muqatil or fighter. So what is the behavior of a da'i in different situations? In different situations. For example, when Prophet was in Mecca, a person came to Mecca. His name was Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi. His tribe was Daws. The name of his tribe was Daws. So from tribe Daws, he came to Mecca, and he happened to meet the Prophet of Islam. And Prophet of Islam told him what is his mission, and he recited some verses from the Quran. After hearing the Quranic verses, he accepted Islam. He abandoned idol worshipping. He was also an idol worshipper. So he abandoned idol worshipping and he accepted the religion of Tawheed. Then he went back to his tribe and conveyed this mission. He conveyed this message also to his tribe. But that tribe was a idol worshipper at that time. So they became hostile. Even they beat him. So he suffered a lot from his tribes. So again he visited Makkah and he met Prophet of Islam and said, "O Prophet, pray God to destroy this tribe. They are very bad people." But what happened? Prophet raised his hand and said, "Allahumma de dawsan, Allahumma de dawsan." O God, show guidance to those, the people of those. O God, forgive those and guide them towards the Tawheed, towards the truth. Although there was negative reaction, although there was atrocities, but Prophet responded in a positive way. In the heart of Prophet, there was love towards those people. So he did dua. He asked guidance from God for those people. So when this news reached to those, there emerged a second thought. There emerged a second thought among those people. And gradually they accepted Islam. So this was the jihad. Why? Giving such positive response is great jihad. Because when there is negative reaction, when there is provocation, when there are hostilities, when there are atrocities, then it is not easy to pray. You have to be patient. You have to hold your sentiment. You have to tolerate. You have to control your negative sentiments. Then you are able to do such dua. In this sense, dawah is jihad. A peaceful struggle is a jihad. Peaceful struggle among who? Peaceful struggle among those who are hostile. In such a situation, it is not easy to adopt peaceful struggle. In such a situation, it is not easy to opt for peaceful jihad. It requires patience, adjustment, passion, mercy. It requires great sabr. Otherwise, you cannot do peaceful jihad. Because of this, dawah work is a jihad work. Dawah work is a very Dawah work is a work of sabr. Dawah work is a work of tolerance. Dawah work is a work of patience. Dawah work is a work of compassion. So this kind of dawah work is not an easy task. It requires great courage, great patience. So in this sense, dawah work is called jihad work. Wajahidhum bihi jihadan kabira. Great jihad. Do great jihad. And do great dawah work. Do great jihad means do great dawah work. So in such a situation, dawah work becomes a great jihad. In such a hostile situation, dawah work becomes a great jihad, a great work, because it requires great courage, great compassion. So jihad is a peaceful struggle. Jihad is a peaceful dawah work. Jihad is a peaceful response in provocative situations. Because every time you do dawah, there are hostilities. Dawah is not a simple work. So every time when you do dawah, there are hostilities, there are negative reaction. So in such a situation, dawah means peaceful response against all those atrocities. Because of this, dawah work is jihad work. Jihad means dawah work. Jihad has nothing to do with violence or war. Jihad is a peaceful struggle for the cause of dawah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين.